7 months ago, my husband Bob and I moved into a retirement community after spending months right-sizing our lives. One of the things I found, which had been squirreled away in a file for more than 28 years, was remarks I had made at a dear friend's memorial service. Some weeks before her death, my friend Maureen sat next to me on her couch. She grabbed hold of my knee and told me 3 things that were very important to her. I'll share 2 of those things tonight. Maureen told me we're not alone. She assured me that her life wouldn't end at her death. Shortly after we had had that conversation, I awakened one morning at sunrise, and I felt Maureen physically sit next to me on my bed. I know this doesn't sound like the traditional topic for a Celtic service reflection, but this is really what I experienced. My friend was there to tell me goodbye, and she was there to tell me that indeed death is not the end. A couple of hours later, Maureen's daughter called to tell me about her mom's death. I told this young woman that I already knew that her mom had died because Maureen had come at sunrise to bid me farewell. For me, this early morning experience gave me a deeply personal understanding of eternal life. Maybe that experience is why I love to get up almost every morning without an alarm to wake me up to see the foreglow and the sunrise. I want to be alert to whatever might happen in that golden hour. And I also want to take a photo of what's happening in the sky as the sun is about to rise. Maureen's final point that evening was that we have been richly blessed, so we're called to express that blessing and to pass it on. During the months before she died, my friend carefully selected personal offerings to give to many of her friends. For me, it was 3 books about how to form and nurture small groups. For others, it was a flower, a word, or an idea. This is how I described it at the time. In recent weeks, it seemed that she was heaven-bent on giving us something of the essence of herself, something we could hold to and ponder, something that would help us to remember exactly who she was and what she had lived for, should the day come when she was gone. For each of us, there'll come a day when earth is not our home. So let us each be heaven-bent on being who God made us each to be. And let us each be heaven-bent on giving of the essence of ourselves. Thanks be to God for the life of my friend. Thanks be to God in all things. And one final note, not about Maureen. Once upon a time, just a few minutes after she was born, our 13-year-old granddaughter just gazed deeply into my eyes for maybe 3 minutes. All of us in the room were astounded at this behavior. It felt like she was wordlessly telling me all of the secrets of how God had blessed her just before her birth. I seemed to understand that she knew she might forget this original blessing over time, so she wanted to share the blessing with me while it was fresh in her mind. I think each of us is blessed to have a personal understanding of some of the secrets of the universe and that we're meant to pass those stories along. When the stories that became the Bible were first spoken from person to person, they weren't written down, they were just spoken. Then they were written down, and then, magically, they became the Bible. Let's all go and do the same. Let's tell our personal faith stories to one another. Maybe over dinner tonight in Fellowship Hall, or maybe over coffee tomorrow with a friend or family member. And then let's write them down.